first thing to understand is that an offer is not about you. This is one of the problems most people make, is they try to figure out, what do I want to create? What do I want to create? Okay, first you have to get out of your own head. This is not about you at all. This is about, and this is one of the problems people have all the time. Like, I would never buy that. Like, doesn't matter about if you're going to buy it. I need Myron to buy it. I need the right person to buy it, right? So you figure out, like, Myron's backstage, like, I will never invite Russell back again. Okay. So first thing you got to figure out is, like, who is the person you've been called to serve? Notice how I phrase that. Not who am I trying to sell? Who is the person you've been called to serve? Okay. Now, what most of you guys probably don't know yet is the person you've been called to serve is you 5 years ago. Everyone's like, I don't know who my dream client is. I don't know who my avatar is. It's you 5 years ago. This is the reason why. Okay. The way this whole game is played is that there's you, and you had some kind of pain in your life, right? Either trying to get out of pain or towards pleasure. Myron talked about earlier today, right? You had something, and so you went on a journey. You decided to leave your ordinary world of being complacent and being normal. You went on a hero's journey to go out there to figure out the answer to this thing, right? And you went through something, and as you went through the whole thing, you developed a treasure map, right? You went through and you figured out, here's how you got the treasure. So for some of you guys, maybe it was weight loss. Maybe you were overweight and you're like, one day you decided, this is enough, I'm gonna change my life. And so you decided to go on this path, right? You decided to leave your ordinary world to go on a hero's journey to go figure out the answer to this problem. And you went through and you spent 3 or 4 or 5 years and you figured out how to get fit or healthy or whatever your thing is, and you figured out the answer. And the most powerful thing you got from this entire thing is you got a map. I have a map that gets somebody, they got me a result. This is the key. I have a map. And all of you guys have a map. Some of you guys did it in marketing, in business, in sales, in stock trading, and whatever your thing is, right? You each have a map. Am I right? That's why you're here. Like you have something in your life, you tried to figure out, you got the answer, now you've got a map. Okay? The map is the key to everything. All right? So the first thing to understand is that what you are selling, what your offer actually is all tied to this. What you're offering somebody is a result. Okay? When I was selling the $1 million offer that Myron and other people bought, the result I was selling people was legacy. Like, how do you live forever? That was what I was trying to sell people. Right? The results can be different for everyone. When I'm selling funnels, the result I'm selling people is like, I'm going to sell you software that'll allow you to grow your company faster. Like, funnels are a way that you can, like, that's the thing. You guys are here today because the result that you came for is what? What's the name of this event? What's the result you're looking for? Yeah. Offers. Think Myron's got a map on how to make offers? Yeah. Think all the speakers here have maps? Yeah, that's why we're here. You guys are here to learn my maps, the Myron's maps. So here's the map. How do I get to the buried treasure? Right? So that's the result you guys all came for. Now, one mistake that most new entrepreneurs make over and over again is that what they do is that they see this and they try to create, they just try to create a product, okay? And there's a difference between a product and offer. I want to talk about the evolution in your head and how to look at this differently, right? A product is a thing, right? It's a commodity. Like, you may have it, but someone else might have it as well. Okay? And so the biggest misunderstanding, the reason why most people struggle is because they create a product that everybody else has, that other people have as well, right? And when more than one person can sell the same product, it becomes a commodity. And when you have a commodity, the biggest problem with that is that then the only way to really differentiate yourself is by price. Right? So let's say I open a store and I want to sell iPhones, right? So how much does an iPhone cost nowadays? $1,000 or something. Okay, let's say $1,000, right? So if I have an iPhone store, but there's like 12 other people in Boise, Idaho selling iPhones, the only way for me to differentiate, if it's a product, is to undercut them. Well, it's $1,000 here, you can get me for $900. Oh, $900, I can get me for $800. Oh, I can get it for $700. And you start this price war to the bottom. Okay, that is a business you do not ever want to be in. Dan Kennedy told me, he said that there's no strategic advantage of being the second lowest price leader in town. Like, if you're Walmart, cool, you're the lowest price leader, like, that's the strategic advantage. Being the second lowest price leader, there's no strategic advantage. So if you can't be the low price leader, then you want to be the most expensive, the most premium, because there's a huge strategic advantage of being the most expensive, right? So first thing is understanding, like, if you have something everyone else can sell, then it's a product and it's a commodity. So I need to transition this from a product. So if my product is like, that gets the result is just a product, again, that's where it becomes a commodity. I need to transition it to an offer. When I create an offer, it's unique just to me. And so what I'll do is I'll bundle some things together. So a good example, how many of you guys know who Garrett J. White is? I spoke at Garrett White's Warrior Con 4 or 5, or one of his big warrior events. And when I first came out at the very beginning, I told him, I was like, hey everyone, I'm gonna sell somebody in this room my phone for $100,000. Anyone want to pay me $100,000 for it? Everyone's like, no, it's a commodity. You're in? Yeah. He's in. So I told him, I said, I'll sell this for $100,000. Everyone's like, no. I was like, okay, well, how much does the iPhone cost? Like $1,000. I'm like, okay, well, that's a product. I'm interested into an offer. So I said, this iPhone is special. It's not like a normal iPhone. So I'm mildly obsessed with personal development, business marketing. So in the last 20 years, I've bought every personal development marketing course known to man. I spent conservatively, I think last time my accountant sent me the list, was like $750,000 to $800,000 in personal development marketing, like coaches and like courses and things like that. Every course, as soon as I buy it, first thing I do is I send it to my brother. My brother's one of my audio video guys. He rips them all and he puts them all in here. So every course I've ever bought in the history of time from now, $750,000 worth of courses is all on here. I listen to them all the time. They're on audiobook format, PDF, like everything's on here. So every course that you'd ever want to learn anything that's useful for entrepreneurs is on this. That's number one. Number two, I spent 20 years of my life building a lot of contacts. Today, after lunch, I'm flying down to Florida because I have a mastermind meeting with Tony Robbins. Me and 10 people will be sitting in a room with Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins' phone number's on here. Who wants Tony's phone number? Okay. Tony's on there. Plus everyone of my dream affiliates, everyone of my pretty much anyone who's who in personal development or business is on this phone. I was speaking last week to a whole bunch of kids that go to church with us. And it was just funny because like they know who influencers are, but they don't know who I am. And so I'm like, hey, you guys know Mr. Beast? They're like, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, like the guy who runs his channel is one of my close friends. They're like, what? You know Mr. Beast's friend? I'm like, give me an influencer. And they're naming off all these names. I'm like, and I've shown them on the phone. I'm like, yeah. There's their phone number, there's their number, there's the number. And they're like, you're friends with so-and-so? I'm like, yeah, they're all my buddies. They're freaking out. So anyone you want to do a deal with is pretty much on here in almost every market. The nice thing about ClickFunnels is that I don't just teach people like just business stuff. Like I'm teaching people in every single market. So if you're in biohacking, health, like any market you're in, like I'm pretty much friends with the top gurus in every market because they're all on here. So if you need connections, all of them are on here. And I start going thing after thing. I'm like, Voxer's on here. You have access to like all these, like I would show them everything. I was like, so who here wants my phone now? And everyone's hands went up. I'm like, okay, who here would pay $1,000? Everyone, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. And we got to the point where, I think at the peak it was like $700,000 and there's sort of 3 people. I was like, you have to be willing to buy this right now or put your hands down. And they got their hands up. I'm like, come on stage, then come on up. And 3 people walked up on stage willing to pay $750,000 for my phone. And I asked one of the guys, like, why would you pay $750,000 for my phone? He said, man, when you told me everything that's in that offer, it seems cheap. Okay? One of the secrets that offers, you got to create something where when someone looks at the money that they're trading you for the thing, that it seems inexpensive. Like, whoa, that's all you're charging? And if you can do that where it seems inexpensive, you stack on so much value, it seems inexpensive, that's when people will hand over money day and night. Okay? So you have to be good at creating offers. I was trying to explain this to my kids one time because my kids are, they're awesome, but they fight me on everything because dad knows nothing. But I was trying to explain this to him, and I was like, is $10,000 a lot of money? They're like, yeah, that's so much money. I was like, so if I offered you a coaching program, $10,000, you pay? They're like, no, dad, no one would ever pay that ever. I was like, why? I'm like, $10,000 is a lot of money. And I was like, well, how about this? If I was to offer you a Ferrari for $10,000, is that a lot of money? They're like, no. I'm like, could you get it? They're like, dude, dad, if you give me a Ferrari for 10 grand, I guarantee I could get the money. I'm like, what would you do? Like, I would go knock on people's doors. And I'm like, why would you do that? I'm like, dude, $10,000 is cheap, dad. I'm like, you just told me $10,000 is a lot of money. He's like, no, for a Ferrari, it's cheap. I'm like, yeah, because you figured it out, right? And that's the mindset you figure out. You have to create something. You have to create an offer that's so good. And when someone looks at it, and you're like, that's $10,000. It's $25,000. Myron made an offer yesterday for like $350,000. Like 10 people or so bought it. Okay? You're like, $350,000, that seems so expensive. Unless the value's so high, and you're like, 350 grand, taking out with Myron? Like that's all of a sudden becomes really expensive, right? It's all how you structure the offer.